Yo, what's up? My name is Patrouski, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a competitive Gyarados, and I will be making myself a competitive Gyarados. The reason I want to do this is because, obviously, I don't have a competitive Gyarados, and I think it's a really cool mon, and I've been a lot more interested in the OU PvP tier, actually. Traditionally, I'm an NU player, but in my opinion, the tier is not very fun at the moment, pretty unbalanced, and I'm just not enjoying my time there when I queue up. So I'm going to switch over to a more balanced and fun tier that is OU. The reason being, I really want to try a Gyarados and Mamoswine core. Gyarados and Mamoswine really mix together really well because a lot of people are going to bring in those electric types like Magnezone or Jolteon or something of the sort to deal with, or even like a Hidden Power Electric or any sort of coverage electric move to deal with Gyarados since it has a 4x weakness to electric attacks. You can then switch in Mamoswine and be able to answer a lot of those Pokemon like Jolteon or like Magnezone with an Earthquake. Magnezone is obviously 4x weak to ground, and then if you know they're going to switch out and they're not going to stick in on the Earthquake, you're able to set up Stealth Rocks after that. So it's like you always get some sort of value, and the coverage differences between these two Pokemon is pretty nice. So I'm going to be making a Gyarados today to go alongside the super nice Mamoswine comp that I've had for a while, but honestly haven't played too much. And Mamoswine is just one of my favorite competitive Pokemon. It's really cool. It's technically in the UU tier, but I actually think it's one of the UU Pokemon that works the best in OU. So before I even start buying a Magikarp or looking for a Magikarp or doing anything of the sort, the first thing I want to do, I haven't bred a Gyarados in a long time. I want to check, I always misspell the name. I want to check, does Gyarados have any egg moves that I have to worry about? Doesn't look, no egg moves, literally none. Perfect. Brain off, monkey mode, love that. So no egg moves. And then secondly, there's like a couple important decisions I want to figure out. Or I guess the main one is nature. Do I want to go adamant or jolly on this Gyarados? And figuring that out will be super, super important. Now, if I end up just rolling one of those randomly, I might just take one, but I want to do some speed calculations, and I want to understand whether I can get away with going adamant. I want to understand how fast, how many, like after one Dragon Dance, what can I outspeed? After with no Dragon Dances up, what can I outspeed, etc., etc. I also need to calc, for example, some important calculations or some important matchups. I really need to figure out how much damage does Leaf Storm Superior do to my Gyarados. Like, there's a lot of like really important matchups you essentially want to think about. And whenever you make a competitive Pokemon, you should always go to the statistics page in PvP, look at the OU tier, and look at some of the most commonly used Pokemon. Look at the most commonly used Pokemon and figure out like, hey, how does this Pokemon match up against Garchomp? How does it match up against Scizor? What do I do against Rotom-Wash? Etc., etc. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be running some calculations and essentially sharing my findings with you guys. Alright, here's the first important calculation that I've run, and it's really tough to record Pokemon Showdown damage calculations without it looking a little funky on screen, so I'm trying my best here. But here's the important thing. So Gyarados does outspeed Superior after a Dragon Dance. It gets put up to 199 speed. With Adamant Nature, I haven't even calced Jolly yet and everything, so we're going to calc Adamant first and see all the speed tiers. So after a Dragon Dance, we do outspeed Superior, being 199 versus 181, unless it's the very, very rare, like 2% chance of it being a choice Scarf Superior, but I don't want to calc against super uncommon situations. Unfortunately, the damage situation is obviously not great. If I'm Gyarados facing down Superior, I'm not going to be at a winning matchup. Now, interestingly enough, Leaf Storm actually does surprisingly little damage. At least the first Leaf Storm does surprisingly little to Gyarados, 49 to 58%. So I'm actually, if I'm in a situation where getting like 25% damage off or risking the flinch chance against Superior is relevant, I could actually just go ahead and go for that. There's going to be situations where it might actually be worth, like, or for example, if I've chipped down the Superior to around 50% HP already at that point within the game, then I'll actually be super safe. Imagine the Superior comes in at 50% HP, I'm on Gyarados, I've Dragon Danced up once, I'd be able to Waterfall, do 25% of its HP, go for that flinch chance, and then even if I don't flinch, he does, 50% to me, I'm able to then KO his Superior with the Waterfall, or he'll switch to something else and I'll be able to get off some damage. So if I can whittle, it's important to know these matchups. It's definitely not a winning matchup by any means, but it's still important to know the number ranges in situations where it might become a winning matchup for me. I'm going to go ahead and calc a ton more things. Okay, another important speed calculation here. This is Gyarados versus Choice Scarf Garchomp. And if you calc it, even if you're Jolly Nature and Dragon Danced up once, you're never going to be able to outspeed Choice Scarf Garchomp. Now, what about Dragon Dance up twice? But that'll pretty much rarely happen. You definitely don't want to bank on that versus Dragon Dancing once, which is way more common. Honestly, I'm really interested in Adamant Gyarados here. I'm definitely going to have to look at a lot more speed calcs and everything, but essentially, look at these numbers. This is the typical Choice Scarf Garchomp versus the typical Adamant Garchomp, or not Garchomp, but Gyarados, and essentially, it's always gonna be faster than me, but I'm actually able to live one Stone Edge, and I'm not able to KO it in response. If I were to run Ice Fang on this thing, I actually would be able to KO. I would be able to counter essentially Garchomp, but it's a tough position to be in. I really don't want to have to run Ice Fang on this thing, especially when I plan to pair it with Mamoswine, which is going to be able to come in against Garchomp, but it might get shit on. The issue is Mamoswine also has a tough issue switching to Garchomp, so I'm definitely gonna have to look for a decent Garchomp switch for this team. That'll be super important. I think I'm gonna run something like Volcarona to answer Superior, and then I'm gonna need something else to answer Garchomp well enough. Now, this might actually be the most important calculation. It'll probably be my last one. This is the classic matchup of Jolteon versus Gyarados. Now, as you can see, you have to be Jolly Gyarados to be able to outspeed timid Jolteon, which is what most people run. If you're Adamant, you will actually be outsped by Jolteon by literally one stat, 199 versus 200. This is one of the oldest, old as times calculations and important competitive things to understand, that Jolteon beats Adamant Gyarados, but Jolly Gyarados can beat Jolteon, especially with EQ. Now, thankfully, that's one lost matchup, but if we look over at the statistics on Jolteon, Jolteon is one of the worst Pokemon in OU right now, in my opinion. It's currently sitting at a 5% usage rate, which is pretty decent, but a 43% win rate. To still be being used this much and be losing this much is a really telltale sign that people are mostly running Jolteon probably just because they like the Pokemon, not because it's actually in a good position in the metagame. I think Jolteon is pretty freaking out of date, and it doesn't really hold up in the current OU metagame. It just gets stomped by too many things. Choice Scarf Guard, there's so many just ground types that can just EQ against it really safely, and it just gets chipped down by Life Form and doesn't do enough damage, and it has a really hard time. So in my opinion, I actually am super okay with going with Adamant Gyarados. I think that's what I'm going to be aiming for. Going with an Adamant Gyarados because I'm not scared of Jolteon. I'm going to have other ways to answer it. I'm not super worried about it. Obviously, Mamoswine and everything, like I mentioned earlier. I think Adamant is the way to go to get off as much damage as possible. So I've made that decision. Let's go ahead and start breeding. And actually, you know what? 6-8 minutes into this video, let's go ahead and finally start making the Pokemon. Alright, now currently on the GTL, the cheapest Gyarados that fits the descriptions that I want is around 400k, which is really overpriced, being Adamant, 2x31, 25 plus, and all the stats that I need. A more comparable one is probably this Jolly one. Obviously, it's not the nature that I want, but it's pretty comparable to the price point I should be looking for. So my goal in this video is to breed a competitive Gyarados for less than 260k. I should be able to breed it for a lot cheaper than that, and I think I actually scouted out a really good Magikarp that I'm going to go ahead and research back up and show you guys. I was hoping to find a good Magikarp deal, and this might be perfect. Now, I would have loved to be able to have a 31 attack IV Gyarados, but honestly, with a deal as good as this, 10k for this Magikarp with 31 speed, which is pretty much the price for a 31 speed Magikarp anyway, but then also 20 to 25 plus and literally every other stat that it needs, this Pokemon just needs to be bred up the IVs a little bit, but it really just needs nature. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this thing for 10k. That's around 11k spent so far. I'm going to plug that into the calculator down in the bottom left so you guys can see how much I spend on this comp. Now, this Magikarp is female, so I actually could just breed it with a male of the species, but the cheapest breedable comparable Pokemon that I found was this Phoebus with the nature that I want. It's 100k, which is really, really expensive. So honestly, I think I'm actually going to be able to find a cheaper Ditto for that price range. So let's go ahead and check. Yeah, 50k here for an Adamant Ditto, 31 HP, 25 plus attack, 27 plus there. We'd be bracing the speed on this and then Everstoning the nature on the Ditto. We'd have a chance to roll. We're kind of just randomly rolling the HP stat on that. And the Ditto is honestly kind of expensive. Let's actually go ahead and lower some of these stats. Let's see if we can find a better deal. All right, I found this Ditto, and this Ditto is actually just straight up better for my purposes. Now, I'm going to be raising the HP a little bit. The most important thing is I'm going to be raising the attack stat, at least to 29, hopefully, unless I low roll. The defense will be staying a little low at 22, which is unfortunate, I'm not going to lie. But the special defense will have a little bit of a high roll. Everything will be high rolling, except for the defense, which will stay a little low at 22, unfortunately. I'll be bracing the speed, so this, honestly, 40k for this, I'm happy to pick this up. So I'm going to go ahead and add 40k to the price check, as well as 20k for the, actually, no, 10k plus 5k for one brace plus an Everstone. So let's go ahead and add, what is it, 40k plus 15k. I'm terrible at math. What is that, 55k plus 55. What is that, 60k, 6k spent so far? I'm going to go ahead and actually pick up those breeding materials. All right, so here it is actually in the breeding screen. This is what it's going to look like. We're going to have a pretty decent chance to roll 25 HP, 29 attack. I'd love to see a high roll. Honestly, if it low rolls is not the end of the world. 22 defense is a little unfortunate, but honestly not the worst thing in the world. We could get really lucky as a 20% chance we roll the double 31 on the special defense. That'd be pretty cool to see, but this is pretty much the comp Gyarados that I wanted. Literally just one breed. I'm only going to spend one breed on it, and I spent 66k. This is going to end up being a really cheap competitive Gyarados. 66k for a fully ready to go competitive Gyarados. Now, it's not quite meeting the stats of the other one. The other ones were like 27 plus, so 22 defense is a little low. You can make those arguments, but at the same time, with the huge price difference of 260k for that one Gyarados versus 66k here for a perfectly ready to go competitive Gyarados, obviously I'm going to have to EV train it and XP train it, and time is money, so it's important to factor that in. But even if you're like super, you can make money while EV trading though, and EV train some Pokemon and sell them. So even if you were to take it really conservatively, let's go ahead and say with the time investment, let's say it cost me around 100k in potential profits and everything to make those Gyarados, you're still saving 160k. It's just so much money, and it's a great way. Breeding competitive Pokemon can save you so much, and understanding the breeding system in PokeMMO is just so important for saving money and making money. All right, the egg did hatch. I haven't checked it yet. Obviously, there's nothing like super exciting to check. I kind of just want to see how the rolls went. No like random nature roll, or if this was like shiny or something insane, but it's not shiny. Oh, we do roll. Nice. That's really sick to see. So we do end up, we low rolled attack, unfortunately, and I think this is also a low roll on HP, so that's honestly pretty unfortunate, but not the biggest deal in the world. We do high roll the 31 special defense. Obviously that was going to be 21. I'm not sure what this special attack, I don't know if that was a high roll on special attack or not. That'd be kind of funny, but anyway, we still do end up with a really fantastic competitive Gyarados on the way. Now, I do want to say there were two costs that I actually forgot to factor in, that I want to be super honest. I thought about them. I usually forget about them, but I thought about them, so I wanted to be really genuine about it. You are gonna have to buy 2 TMs for this thing, Power Whip and Earthquake, which are gonna cost you around, I think, 30k a piece. Looks like Power Whip is 25k, which you can buy from the shop, so you don't have to actually pay the 27k premium, and then Earthquake's 30k, so it's going to be an added, 55k or so, and that is really important to factor in. Now, if I do remember correctly, the Gyarados that we were looking at on the GTL also wasn't fully moveset, so you'd still have to buy them on that one as well, so it's not the craziest thing in the world. I'm still really happy I bred a really budget competitive Gyarados ready to go. Gotta go have to EV train this thing now, and this is the really cool result. If you guys want to go breed some competitive Pokemon, hopefully this guy can help you do it for cheap. I really like doing it on a budget, even though you see me, with almost 17 million Pokeyen here. It's fun. I think there's no better rush. I'm going to start shiny hunting. There's no better rush when making a competitive Pokemon than getting one for a really cheap price. It's really fun and really enjoyable to me. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as well, as much as you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like on it. If you didn't, feel free to dislike as well. Leave comments, feedback down below. Subscribe to the channel. I think only around 38% of my viewers are subscribed. Subscribe if you want to see daily PokeMMO content. Discord link is down below. Join a really cool community and just learn a ton about the game. And then finally, if you want to go above and beyond and support the channel in a really cool way, you can become a cool duder for $5 a month with YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch sub, yada YouTube spiel. Most important thing is PayPal and Venmo. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Make some money in PokeMMO. Have fun. Peace, guys. Hey, if you're seeing this clip, that means you watched the entire video, and thank you. From the bottom of my heart, that means a lot. And this clip is used to say thank you so much to any of those who go above and beyond, any YouTube members, Twitch primers, Twitch subs, Patreon, whatever you may do to support the channel. It's appreciated, and your name is here. Thank you all so much, and have a great day.